Okay, go to the podium.
Joseph Torriello, 307 Meadow Run. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mayor, and the committee for modifying your procedures to allow public comment on this resolution. I would have commented earlier, but I needed to hear what was said in order to frame my comments. First of all, the Department of Community Affairs regulations specifically addresses this issue and says that emergency appropriations are only appropriate and can only be authorized if there's an unanticipated expense. Legal fees by law and definition are not unanticipated. Unanticipated is if there is a tornado which destroys the municipal building. That is the unanticipated expense. Legal fees and projection of legal fees is to be calculated in every year's budget. And, you know, I was here 60 days ago when the budget was passed, and we were 5 months into the fiscal year, and we should have had 5 months worth of legal fees already to know where we were at, to know whether there was a proper projection. And I would respectfully submit that the fact that there had been a miscalculation or an inaccurate forecast, it is not appropriate to use this mechanism to shift a line item fee from one year to another. That is not what the emergency appropriations procedures were designed to address. And I can tell you, as an attorney, and as an attorney who works for a law firm that represents municipalities, I can tell you with directly firsthand knowledge, and as a litigator, I meet with my municipal clients and prepare a budget and tell them what I anticipate the legal fees will be. And we submit on a monthly basis invoices. So consistently, and I have to assume, without knowing, and maybe it's dangerous to assume, but I have to assume that this municipality received at least 5 months worth of invoices from council to know what the costs were when the budget was adopted. And I would submit that council should be directed that they're going to have to be held within their budget. And I would respectfully request and would urge you to vote no on this emergency appropriation.
So as a council, you would continue to represent a municipality that when you weren't going to get paid?
I would honor the budget that I would honor the budget that I submitted to my client, and I would work within that budget, is how I would answer that question. So I would honor my word.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
I would honor my word. I would honor whatever my representation was. Okay, if I had represented that it would be $50,000 and it turned out to be $150,000, I would understand that they, you know.
What if it was more than that? 500,000. You would still.
No, I mean.
You would still keep the same payment?
No, I would answer the question this way: that as I originally stated, that there should have been an estimated budget. And I don't know whether there was or not. So I can't even speak to whether the township had a dialogue with its council. Obviously, because that's privileged communication, I would not know what conversations took place or didn't take place. I would say this: to the extent that we are not having those frank conversations with council, I would strongly recommend that we start doing that, and that we insist on budgets being prepared by litigation counsel, so that the CFO can provide an effective forecasting, to assist. And if we're not doing that, I think shame on us for not doing that.
Well, I would say that we've had those frank conversations.
Okay, well then I would go back to, if we've had those frank conversations and we've had 5 months worth of bills submitted, I honestly don't know how we're here 60 days later and have that shortfall. Something's not right, and I would submit that an emergency appropriation is not the mechanism for addressing any improper planning of a budget.
Since you have the experience with municipalities, what would be the vehicle to address it?
I'm recommending that you vote no on this and that they be held to the budget. Is what I would say, and that's me speaking as a citizen, not giving legal advice. Okay, that's the next thing I need to, because you have your attorney seated right over there, so.
Do you have anything to say, Peter?
The only thing I can tell you is I've been representing municipalities for probably over 30 years, and I would say the majority of emergency resolutions I've seen have been in connection with litigation. Unfortunately, it's not always that simple to predict what litigation is going to cost. I'd probably like to ask some of Mr. Torriello's colleagues at his very well-respected law firm if they can always say this is the most that I'm going to charge on some piece of litigation, because you don't always know where litigation is going to go. For instance, this litigation, an appeal was just filed. I'm sort of, I'm reluctant to say much about the litigation because of the fact that it is litigation. So, I'm kind of like cut.
Well, I do have
behind my
some
back.
prepared points if someone would be interested in.
But,
understanding that.
I've held back on commenting. I noticed that things have gotten into the newspaper. I haven't looked at them in any detail, but I know that stuff's gotten into the newspaper, and I'm trying not to comment on this because it has to do with a very sensitive area. But, there's not too many attorneys I know who would say, well, we're gonna take this litigation and go wherever it goes, and I'll give you a budget of X number of dollars, and it won't cost any more than that. Now, perhaps in certain types of litigation you can do that, but,
But Peter, we have had things where we have stopgaps, and and people have come back and said it's gonna cost us more, right?
yeah,
Okay.
and, unfortunately, this litigation kind of took a spike in April and May, I guess it was, April was the big month, because the opinion was getting written, and a lot of submittals, briefs were being submitted. We got briefs and counter briefs,
Things were
reply
delayed.
into the counter briefs, and it kind of spiked just when you were probably finalizing your budget. So I guess it's unfortunate in that respect, but I don't want to comment on where the litigation might be going in the immediate future, because obviously that's a sensitive issue. But it's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. And police litigation tends to be one of the more costly areas, unfortunately.
I would only say that the fact that we're
Yeah, you
talking
need to
about.
come over to your.
I would only like to add that in light of what council just said, that there was a spike in April prior to the adoption of the budget, makes what we're discussing tonight all the more problematic, because that means we knew with certainty the exact costs, and they weren't included in the budget.
No, that's a wrong statement.
Let me clarify that. There was a spike in activity in April, which probably didn't get billed until May.
That's correct.
And,
Okay.
and unfortunately, there's always a little bit of a time gap there.
Okay, fair enough then, but I still think that there needs to be better communication, and there needs to be submitted budgets and bills submitted on a timely basis, and we have to do a better job in forecasting. And I don't think that this mechanism should be used to correct really improper preparation of budgets.
So let me just probe a little bit more. Better communication. I'd like you just to provide more detail on that. What do you mean by better communication? Tell me what you
I
what you
mean
would do
a
differently.
comprehensive, detailed plan, budgetary plan for litigation, okay? And that would include the appellate process, because a litigator should anticipate that at the end of litigation, one party is not going to be happy, and that usually that means an appeal. That's the nature
So I
of
do
litigation.
have one more question for you. So you would go as far as saying that when you budget for a client, you never run over your budget?
No, but $100,000 in 60 days, that's
No, that's not true.
I heard $100,000
some other things
anticipation
that
now.
came up that were unexpected just
Right, but-
a week ago.
Okay, but the 6 figures is.
No one's told
No.
me that we're gonna
That's-
spend
that's
the
a
full
lot-
$100,000
That's a
on
lot
the
to ask
litigation.
the taxpayers. Do I run over budget $5,000 or so? Yeah, that happens. $100,000? Never.
But, okay, so
I've been
Grace,
licensed
do
to
me,
practice since '92.
Grace, do me a favor,
I've never overrun a budget by $100,000.
just reiterate one more time that we have not overrun the budget by 100,000, because what I don't want to
I know.
have happen, that
We're
this
not
is gonna get in
writing
the
a check
newspaper,
tomorrow
that we
for
fix.
$100,000. We're appropriating $100,000 because we've gone out to our council now and said, look, we've already spent our appropriation for what we've budgeted for this year. What are you anticipating billing me from now to December 31st?
And it may be,
I have to be able to cover that.
And it may be,
It may be far
nothing,
less than the 100,000.
it may be 5,000.
I understand.
And with appeals and this, you know.
If something gets settled,
And I'm
it
not
may be
telling you
zero.
that a new lawsuit can't pop up next month. I have to anticipate that as well. So what if somebody else decides to sue the township? If I don't have an appropriation, I can't hire counsel to represent us. So it's, you know, I have to have some money there. Yes, you're right. We were getting billed, you know, monthly. It was always about 60 days behind. So did I think we were gonna go this far over budget? Absolutely not. Did I think we'd spend our appropriation by the end of July? No, I didn't. I really didn't. I have to be honest with you. Did I think this litigation was gonna go on for 2 years? No. But I have to budget what I think is appropriate, and I thought we budgeted appropriately. You know,
We budgeted what we thought was on the high side for it.
we really did. I mean, I thought that we budgeted very much in the area of what we would spend for the year this year. But council is expensive. I'm sure you're aware of how expensive it gets. And did I fully know the extent of the appeals? And no, I didn't know what it was going to cost us if we had more than one appeal and this ongoing scenario. I didn't. And maybe that's my error in that I didn't fully understand how many new paths this litigation could take. And it certainly, it's a rolling ball.
Thank you for allowing me to be heard. I do appreciate it.
Any other public comments?
David Foster, Express Times. I was just wondering if we could get a detail of what you guys appropriated in the budget, how much money, and then what bills are coming in, and how much do you expect to go over?
I'm sure the CFO could give you that information.
We budgeted $150,000.
Grace, is that more or less from last year? I don't remember, did we decrease that or did we?
Well, we
increase?
budgeted less, I think, last year, but then we transferred in.
So how
we
much did we
budgeted what
actually
we
spend
spent
last
last
year?
year.
Last year, we spent 150, we spent 150, we kept it same. Last year, we budgeted 100.
Yeah, that's what I
But we
thought.
transferred
So you
We
transferred,
transferred 50.
transferred 50 in, so
And
we
we spent the
budgeted
whole
the
thing?
same 150 in 6 months,
Well,
So we budgeted 150
150 over the year we spent.
over the year.
Right.
So that's
why I
fine, 6
budgeted
months.
150 for this year.
Okay.
Honestly, I thought we would be okay.
Yeah,
I really did.
And what's the anticipation, like how much over we expect?
How much do we expect to
Well, the
spend the rest of the year?
appropriation
Yeah.
is for $100,000 more, but that doesn't necessarily mean we'll spend the full 100,000.
Yeah, we don't
That's-
expect to spend that much.
Now, is this with the Teziopia's trial with the cop?
That's the biggest piece,
That's the
yes.
principal expense.
Do you know how much the township has spent on that so far, and how much it anticipates to spend?
I'm sure she can give you that information, but not
Off
tonight.
the top of my head, I can't give you the exact number.
I guess another question then would be with the trial at the Attorney General's office, didn't charge the officer with any wrongdoing. Why did the township seek going after him, I guess?
You know, you're you're getting into the merits of the case, and I'd like to comment on it, but you know, we've been deliberately not commenting on this case, and apparently somebody's been feeding information to your newspaper. So it's
did you send an Oprah request to the AG's office to get that information?
What's that? I obtained it.
You obtained it and you saw it?
Yeah.
Because I gotta tell you, as an elected official, I learned more from your newspaper than I knew myself here as an elected official. And And I gotta tell you, I did not know that piece of information, and I thank you for telling me, because this governing body, me in
What piece
particular.
of information
that the-
specifically, Elaine?
That
What,
the
because you
AG's
read,
office, that the AG's office cleared Taz of not having done any wrongdoing. I never saw that information. That
you
wrongdoing.
read
No.
the decision.
No,
You
no,
read the
that
decision.
the AG's office cleared Taz on July the 10th of 2010. That was not given to us as any part of any
Cleared Taz?
information.
Whoever said he wrongdoing?
Go ahead, tell them what you just
Well,
said.
I mean, it was brought to the Attorney General's office, and it was cleared by them, and also the
You're
wrongdoings.
talking about the clear.
Copying of the,
They cleared both of them, and then for some reason,
copying of the,
I believe Chief
accident
Guzzo
report.
went to Warren County Prosecutor's Office to have him prosecuted through there, and that's the reason why he got fired.
No,
Oh.
no.
There's
You
a-
guys have to, Peter,
there's a lot of characterizations and mischaracterizations being put in the newspaper, and I can't comment on them, so.
Well, that's it, I looked at the legal documents,
Yeah,
so.
you know,
he's got
I would like
information
to,
we
I would
don't
like to
have.
make, Peter, I would like to make a few statements, so,
He's got
to be
information
honest,
we
to
don't have.
to respond. Elaine, you've had all the information.
I have not had all the
Elaine, I'm not getting
information.
into an argument with
No,
you
no,
on
no.
this. The termination issue obviously is being litigated and is generally inappropriate to comment while such matters are being litigated. However, I will say that comments which have appeared in the press attributed to the Taziopoulos case are largely inaccurate and self-serving. Allegations of unfair treatment are false and were carefully reviewed in a 2-day hearing and were rejected. Counsel for Taziopoulos had the opportunity to present his case. Taziopoulos did not testify on his own behalf.
all right, let's just cut it off there.
If I could respond to that, everything in the paper came from police reports and legal documents, so there's no personal opinion in that.
Unless we have other public comments, I'd like a motion to close.
Charles Sladek, 103 Bradford Lane. I don't know about this whole case or anything. I was just surprised when I saw in the agenda that there was appropriation. I didn't know what it was about. And it's for $100,000, and as a taxpayer, I think that's ridiculous. But that a case, I don't know about this whole case. I'm just learning here about a little bit about this case. Why did it get to this point? Have you investigated what started this and where this shouldn't happen to begin with? That someone brings a case like this against the township. I haven't heard of it before. And now we're gonna be liable for what? Maybe somebody screwed up. You better find out who's bringing this all these charges or whatever, and find out if they're all right and true. You should dig into why this happened to begin with. That's the way I feel, as a taxpayer.
Charlie,
Because this is gonna be my money.
Charlie, it's already been investigated.
Yeah, well, I hope so. But it's still going on, isn't it?
Okay, motion to close?
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?